you?
Hi, how are you?
Doing well. How you doing?
Hey, good.
What brings you out?
I'm just here to film, really.
Here to film.
Mind if I get you on camera and just talk about why you're here?
Sorry.
Do you mind about talking about why you guys are here? I'm just trying to film protests, so.
Oh, okay, yeah. I mean, we're out kind of protesting the Trump election, and we also think, like, the Democrats have, really failed to serve the interests of working people, and so, like, we think we need a new party. We're protesting the Trump's far-right agenda, all the sort of emboldening he's done of the far-right and stuff. And
I guess what's your main complaint?
main complaint?
Yes.
With what exactly?
What's your mission here? What are you here to protest against? What do you support?
Yeah, I think, like, the only thing that can really stop, like, the attacks on trans people, on LGBTQ people, all working people, actually, like, is, like, stuff like this. It's not in the voting booth, it's in the streets, it's actually putting pressure on the establishment. That's what stopped his agenda the last time he was president, and that's what's going to keep him stopping.
Now, what do you expect Trump and his administration to do that's anti what you support?
Well, I think, sorry, could you rephrase the question?
What do you think Trump and his administration is going to do that is anti what you guys are supporting?
He's made a lot of promises of mass deportations of immigrants in the country. He's kind of called it criminals, but we all know what he's talking about.
What do you think he's going to deport immigrants or illegal immigrants?
Yeah, I think, like, the whole status of, undocumented workers is, just making second-class citizens of workers that this country actually needs. And
well, then, do you support illegal immigration? I mean, for lack of better words, like, do you support open borders, I guess might be a better way to phrase that?
Yeah.
Okay. How come?
Like, a lot of people, like, entering the country are doing so because, they're fleeing kind of the crisis in their own country, and I think, like, I don't think immigrants or anyone that kind of goes to another place should be criminalized by any means. It just makes them more open to exploitation in every way. They're afraid to go on strike because they're afraid of getting fired and deported, They're the most exploited population, and so I support, decriminalization of undocumented workers.
Now, with that policy of open borders, do you think that makes America a better country? Like a safer country, better economy?
What are you representing? Like,
it's just me. I'm just trying to really see what you guys are here to protest for.
Yeah, what are you filming for, though?
Oh, just my own channel.
Your own channel?
Yes.
Okay, what are you talking about on your channel?
I go to protest around Pittsburgh when everyone is going around.
Yeah.
I just try to talk to people about, like, what they're protesting. Yeah. I try to be objective, stay, just, like, hear your opinions, get your word out there, because you're protesting, you may as well, get your word out there.
All right.
Yeah, just questions, yeah.
All right, well, I think it's starting, but I'll give you this flyer if you want.
Yeah, sure, appreciate it. Yeah, thank you.
Get down! Pittsburgh is a union town, get up! Get down! Pittsburgh is a union town, get up! Say it loud, say it clear, immigrants are welcome here! Say it loud, say it clear, immigrants are welcome here! Up with reparations! Up with reparations! Down with deportation! Down with deportation! My body, my choice! My body, my choice! Our bodies, our choice! Our bodies, our choice! We have a number of people who signed up to speak already, and then afterwards the floor will just be open for anyone who wants to speak. We're trying to keep speeches under 6 minutes. First we have an intro for my co-MCs from Socialist Alternative. Hey everybody, thanks. Yeah, if you don't mind, just bring it in, like, come a little closer if you don't mind. Yeah. I'm Steve Capri. I'm a longtime organizer with Socialist Alternative, which is a grassroots, international, revolutionary socialist organization. We're proud to be co-hosting this event here at excellent Sunrise Movement Pittsburgh and a number of other supporting organizations. We're all here because we're angry.
maybe enraged that this right-wing bigot has been elected again. I think a lot of us are here because we're afraid too, and unsure of what's to come. We're worried about what a more organized and prepared Trump administration is going to try to do to us. But that is why we're here, to unite, to defend one another, and especially the most targeted communities, like trans folks or immigrants who Trump has promised on day one to target. Protests happening today and this week are the first ripples in a new wave of struggle for a better world. We've come together tonight to show Trump, the far right, and the billionaire class that owns and controls both major parties that though we may sometimes feel fear, we will not back down. We will stand up and we will fight. If the government tries to come and take our undocumented neighbors in January, we will need to be out there in force, protesting to defend them. And in the meantime, we campaign and fight to make Allegheny County a true sanctuary county. We come together not only to defend our rights and safety, but to extend our rights and fight for a better life, which history shows us can absolutely come under a right-wing administration. All the problems we are facing economically, politically, and socially are symptoms of a system that is getting even sicker, and that system is capitalism. We can no longer rely on capitalist parties or institutions. We, everyone here, workers, young people, activists, all of us have to build our own structures and support, including our own political party based on social movements and labor movements. The fear is real, but we have so much to be hopeful about, more to be hopeful about than to be afraid about, and I know that I am ready to fight. Thank you all so much for being here. After we have some speakers from a number of organizations, many of which you can join or get involved with, that are here for that. You can come and be part of an open speak out where anyone can come up and talk for a few minutes about what's important to you, what you're feeling, or what you think we need to do next. Also consider joining any of the organizations here. Get materials, sign up on the sheets, chat with us. I know we in Socialist Alternative would love for anyone interested in the fight for a new and better world to join us. Now here's my co-MC from the Sunrise Movement. Thank you so much.
Hello! So, as they said, I am from Sunrise Pittsburgh. We are a youth-led climate action group who are also involved in intersectional issues, particularly anti-war efforts. Before we get started with speakers, there were a lot of words who we wanted to have here tonight that couldn't make it due to, oh. Is it better without the mask?
Come in closer if you're able.
All right. So we have a number of other orgs who we wanted to highlight that couldn't get a speaker because it was short notice, but they're still great orgs that we should all be aware of, that they're there to get involved with. First, we have Mask Up Pittsburgh, who donated the free masks that we have over there. They provide free masks and COVID tests. Despite what capitalistic powers want us to believe, COVID is not over, and we cannot afford to abandon our immunocompromised community members, and we need to continue the steps needed to keep them safe.
That's right. Yes.
We also have two different Black trans-led organizations in Pittsburgh that provide needed services to our trans community. Sisters PGH and Trans Uniting. Go to their website. The next organization I wanted to highlight is Tri-State Abortion Action. They couldn't get a speaker because they're actually having their own meeting right now, but they sent me a statement that I'm going to read for them. Under a Trump presidency, we know our reproductive rights will continue to erode, but we have been fighting for access long before this, pushing for legislative change and supporting people in need. Now more than ever, we must come together to defend and expand abortion access. If you are ready to join us in this fight, we welcome you to find us at Tri-State Abortion Action on Instagram. Our mission is clear: to break down barriers to abortion access across Pennsylvania, West Virginia, and Ohio. We're working to block restrictive state referendums, expand access. Don't fall asleep. Expand access like we did in Ohio last year, and build a strong community here in Pittsburgh. We're sharing stories, supporting clinic workers, and connecting abortion seekers to the care they need. Together, we can create a future where everyone has the freedom to make decisions about their own bodies.
That's right.
Yeah, women are people. I next want to highlight the volunteer organization Food Not Bombs, who recover food that would otherwise be discarded and share meals with the hungry. Look them up on Instagram and you can find their distros. They're also having a potluck on the 12th at Roboto in Bloomfield from 5 to 8. This is open for anyone interested in getting involved in the community. And then the last organization I wanted to highlight is BDS Pittsburgh, who are involved in the fight to divest Pittsburgh's economy from the occupation in Palestine. I know with our own rights under attack, it's easy to forget things going on in the rest of the world, but our solidarity needs to extend to people who are experiencing genocide from our tax dollars.
That's right.
BDS are currently in a campaign to get the Pittsburgh company Hallam to not renew their Lockheed Martin contract, which is about to be ending, and I have a statement from them as well. Hallam Aerospace is a Pittsburgh company with international headquarters on the north side. Hallam has a contract with Lockheed Martin supplying specialty metal parts for the F-35. Hallam Accountability Project is conducting a pressure campaign to cancel that contract. We will be rallying on Wednesday, November 13th from 3 to 4:30 at their offices at the north end of the Warhol Bridge. That's 201 Isabella Street, Pittsburgh, 15212. You can reach them through Instagram, Facebook, or email bdspittsburgh@gmail.com. All right, and so before the next speaker, I just want to leave you with a call for unity. In order to not only survive Trump, but also to fight for the future we need, we on the left have to stay in community with each other and be there to support each other. There are many factions and divisions on the left, but no matter what our disagreements are, we need to continue to be willing to work together to achieve the things we agree on. Because we will never win if we are not willing to work together. The right wants us to be fighting each other so that our power is divided. We on the left frankly need to get our shit together and start bitching at each other over what we disagree on and focus on our points of unity. We all need to be there to defend marginalized groups, particularly immigrants who the Trump administration seems to be gearing up to go after immediately. We all know body autonomy is a human right, and we need to defend abortion, reproductive health care, and trans health care. We know health care in general is a human right. We need community control over the police so they have accountability for brutality they often inflict on marginalized groups. We don't want our taxes used for war crimes. We need to protect our planet and fight for a Green New Deal to prevent climate disaster while supporting our workers who are currently dependent on the fossil fuel industry, as well as the military-industrial complex. We need an actual democracy, not this electoral college, lesser of two evils bullshit. We do not have to agree on everything, but as long as we can agree on these goals, we need to be willing to work together to achieve them, because this is the only way that we can win. Thank you all for being here and for beginning to work towards this. And I'm now going to welcome our next speaker, Bethany Hallam from Allegheny County Council.
Hey everybody, can you hear me okay? Yeah. So I don't know about you guys, but I am mad as hell today. But it's not the first day that I've been mad as hell, right? And of course I'm mad that Trump won the presidency, right? Of course I'm mad that Republicans up and down the party of Trump won. I'm mad as hell about that. But I'm mad about a lot of other things too. I'm mad that my own party really let us down, really dropped the ball. And I think that we should stop being afraid to talk about that. There is the option of being of another party that's not the Democratic Party. I respect the hell out of anybody who chooses a different party for themselves. But I am a registered voting member of the Democratic Party. And I have seen over and over again my own parties pandering to hateful Republicans, to billionaires, to elitists, thinking they can get them on our side, thinking that they can make them care about all of us. And it's just not the reality. That's just not how it works. My party let us down time and time again. They let down all the people that we really need to be getting engaged in the process. The people, not who voted for a hateful bigot like Trump. The people who decided that there was nothing on their ballot that was worth coming out and voting. And it doesn't help anybody to shame those people. It doesn't help any of us to shame people for looking at their options and being like, That's just not worth it. I'm not willing to go out of my way to put in effort to fight for a party who isn't going to fight for me. I'm mad about how scared I am for my friends. My gay friends, my trans friends, my non-binary friends, my friends who are of color, my black friends, my brown friends, my friends who are not of the elitist white class who the Democratic Party has been pandering to. My friends who the Democratic Party has left behind. My friends who have student loan debt and don't have a party that's fighting for them to eliminate it. My friends who can't afford health care and don't have a party who's fighting for them for that. My friends who are sleeping in tents and sleeping under bridges and staying in emergency shelters who do not have a party fighting for them. I am terrified for all of them. And I recognize that it's my job to use my privilege to stand up and say, I will put my body on the line for you. I will put my name on the line for you. Because I believe that that's what your government is supposed to do. I believe that that's what your community is supposed to do. And I don't think our government at any level has been doing that for us. And I'll be honest with you, right? I ran for office. I got out of jail, didn't know what I was going to do with my life, but I was mad as hell. Almost as mad as I am right now. And I thought, how can I fix it? I'm going to go and fix the government, right? Which, looking back now, that was a funny thought, okay? But I really, truly believed in my heart that I could run for office, get a seat at the table, and I could help the people that I know need my help the most. And time after time, despite all the accomplishments that we may have made at the county level, I have seen that we can't go far enough. That government is not going to help us, that we are the only ones that show up to help us. Whether it's as an individual, whether it's as an organization that you volunteer for, that you work for, that you believe in. We are the only ones that are going to show up time and time again. Driving down here just from the jail where I was tabling to help people getting released before I got here, I saw 2 different food distributions. That wasn't the government out there giving food to the people who need it. It was people like us who decided we were fed up and that we can't rely on anyone to keep us safe, to keep us housed, to keep us fed, to look out for our best interests. That pisses me off more than anything because it's a system that I truly believed I could fix. I truly believed voting was what was going to save us. It's not irrelevant, but it is only a tiny piece of the puzzle. Woo! Nobody deserves your vote if they haven't earned it. You do not owe any candidate, any elected official, any party your vote. If your elected officials aren't answering to you, aren't voting the way you want them to, aren't showing up in your community, aren't walking the walk like they talk the talk, you are their bosses. You get to hire them and fire them. Vote them the fuck out. But that's only a piece of it. If you are sick and tired of every time you go and vote, seeing the same old people on your ballot, knowing that you've never seen their face, you might not even know their name, looking up their voting record and wonder why they're voting against things like stopping slavery in the jail, wondering why they're voting against things like providing housing for the people who need it the most, wondering why they're giving more money to the police and the courts and the jails and everything else but us and the people who need it the most, you should run for office. Yeah. And I know we're a couple days past an election that they told us was the most important election of our lifetimes. We hear that every single time. But it's true, isn't it? It is, because every year we get one step closer to fascism. Every election we get one step closer to a dictatorship, to a government that truly has silenced us all. I am completely disillusioned with politics and government at the federal level. I still have like this much hope left in what's going on in our local level. That's what happens next year. That's the odd years where we see 17, 20, 25% of voters turning out And yet those are the places that I've met some of the dopest people who are running for office. Woo! And they don't have the billions of dollars to go on the TV. They don't have the millions of dollars to pay people to come and knock your doors, or to even afford the pieces of paper that tell you what they stand for. They don't have that. So if that's something you've ever thought about, even for a single second in your entire life, please come see me after this, because next year is the year where we show them whatever's going on in Washington, D.C., they might have taken our voice away from that, but what's happening in our backyard, in our school boards, in our councils, in our mayor's offices, in our boards of commissioners, in our magistrates, in our judges at the Court of Common Pleas, we still have a say in that. That is still where our vote counts as one vote, one person. But if that's not you either, that's okay. Because there are over 1,000 homeless people who are going to be sleeping outside tonight on our streets in our county. There are almost 2,000 people locked up in our Allegheny County jail. 96% of those people have not been convicted of a crime. They are sitting there on probation detainers because their car broke down and they couldn't find a way to meet their PO. They're sitting there because they had some weed in their system, something that I can go into a store and buy with my money and not go to jail for. They are sitting in there because they are poor. They are sitting in there because they are houseless. They are suffering. They are working, some of them 7 days a week, 12 hours a day for 0 cents an hour. Those are the people that our elected officials, at least most of them, are never going to show up and fight for. They are never going to see them as human beings. And that's where we step up in our capacity as neighbors. And I'm not going to drop the Mr. Rogers quote that I know everybody loves to drop, but I just want to talk about our neighbors. It is not just the people who live around you. It is not just the people that you see in the organizations you work with and the outreach you do. It is every person in this community. They are your neighbors. And if they're not showing up for us, that does not mean that we don't show up for them. I'm sick of the they go low, we go high. No, they go low, we go low, but we do it to help people. We fight back, we scream and yell, and I'm sick of playing nice. Playing nice has got us nowhere. We need to show up to our city council meetings and scream and yell until they do what we tell them to do, because they're our bosses. We need to stand outside of these fancy-ass hotels and office buildings and feed our neighbors. We need to let them know that we're not going away. We are not scared. We are not going to back down. We are going to fight like hell, because we know that that is the only power that we have. Our power, our voice, and the effort that we put into the community each and every day. Again, I personally choose to put my time and effort into helping unhoused folks, into helping people in the jail, because those are things that I personally experienced, that I know people are still experiencing now. I implore you all not to go out and fucking vote, because you did that and it didn't matter. We still get fucked, no matter who is in office. So I implore you instead to think about, what is the cause that you believe in? What is the thing that you would die for, that means more to you than anything in the whole world? Find an organization that's doing that. Find someone that you know cares about them and ask them how you can get involved. It doesn't have to be donating money. Your time is worth so much more than any dollar you can give to any org. You have some clothes in your closet that don't fit you anymore. Give them to an org that's clothing people that have nothing. You have time on the first Thursday of every month. Come down to the jail oversight board meeting and tell them to stop torturing our neighbors in that jail. Do you care that our 18 fucking degrees in November, that our planet is literally burning in front of us? Find an organization who is out protesting the oil and gas industry, who is saying fuck no to fracking in our backyard. Even if they only care about the things that affect them personally, everybody cares about something. Show them why your cause affects them personally, and don't ever shut up about it until it's changed. Thank you guys so much.
From Palestine to Mexico, border walls have got to go.
From Palestine to Mexico, border walls have got to go.
From Palestine to Mexico, border walls have got to go.
From Palestine to Mexico, border walls have got to go.
Hey, Democrats! Democrats, talk is cheap. Build a movement, hit the streets.
Hey, Democrats, talk is cheap. Build a movement, hit the streets.
Hey, Democrats,
Talk is cheap. Build a movement, hit the streets.
right on. Woo! Next up, we've got Mackenzie from the Sunrise Movement Pittsburgh.
Hi everybody, how's it going?
Pretty good.
So I think we're all here tonight because we know that we need a working class movement, mass movement of people on the streets willing to put their bodies on the line and get arrested to get the things that we want. We need to withhold our labor until we get what we want, right? So I think we have to humble ourselves a little bit about what it takes to get there. I think, that we don't need to fall into the trap that Democrats have fallen into also, where they counter the Republicans with just policy talking points, with, theory and talking down to them. We don't need any more of that. We need, our degrees, our theory knowledge are not tools for liberation. Our tools for liberation are radical empathy, their love, their patience, having really difficult conversations with the people that we love, right? I want to encourage you guys to reach out to some people in your life that most people aren't reaching out to right now, and that's actually the white men in our lives, the working class white men in our lives, and really see and hear them right now. My dad grew up in Pittsburgh and is a delivery driver and a dispatcher for deliveries, right? And my whole childhood, I barely saw him because he was always working. Trying so hard to provide for my sister and I, and he refused to go to the doctor. He didn't want to spend money on health insurance because it was so expensive. And the summer of when I was 13 years old, he had a heart attack and was dead on the floor, right, at his job. And people at his job who are volunteer firefighters gave him CPR, and if it wasn't for them, he wouldn't be alive today. And one of the guys that gave him CPR, my dad said he knows that he voted for Trump on Tuesday. Right, so we really need to see people's pain and not talk down to them. I want us to have a revolution, right? I want us to be in the streets, but we need a revolution within ourselves too. I think the most radical thing we can do right now is to pledge to confront the hate in our families, in our neighborhoods, in our high school alumni Facebook groups. Yeah, every single fucking time, guys. Every single time you see it. And I want you to fight it with a militaristic compassion. I'm pledging every single day to put every single breath that I have, every interpersonal interaction, no matter how small, into loving our enemies. And I know it might sound naive to think that involving a Trump supporter is going to make them change. But tomorrow I want you to really move through your day and feel the whole weight of lawlessness, the shame that our system has created. And I think right now, craving for love,
actually kind of, it's not productive.
You guys need volunteers for you.
Because people are waiting up like there.
Yeah, basically. So,
Also, bring it.
also, if you'd like for your table.
Thanks, yeah, you can leave them.
Like I can speak to more.
Yeah, y'all have a good night.
Love is a organized and not
Have them talk to you about it.
the love that clearly must be held.
Yeah, like what did you see now? I want to send some people there.
Sunrise. They're more
So we chose the love that we create from our partners that, still trying to unlearn patriarchy. James Baldwin said, love has never been a popular movement, and no one has ever really wanted to be free. The world is held together, and we get held together by the love and passion and otherwise, I can every month.
I was like, wait a minute, there's something there. That's like, not even a joke.
There's so many third parties.
Nice.
I think we all know, everybody here that has privilege, whether it's cisgender privilege, white privilege, being able to have citizenship. Now is the time that we make our entire body and soul into anti-racism, queer and trans liberation, protecting our immigrant friends, and destroying patriarchy. And we should have done it a long time ago, but feeling guilty about it, or trying to, think that we're innocent because we are doing something, is not enough. It's not going to keep our friends alive.
Oh, no, I'll be all right.
And all of this is a climate issue, guys. It's a climate issue. The climate movement is not going to survive one day without Black mothers who are fighting on the fence lines of petrochemical development, without our lovely trans anarchists that I know are going to keep us safe through this, without immigrant labor leaders, without lesbian ecologists who are going to help their friends get the abortion care they need no matter what the government says about what they can do with their bodies. We can't have a just transition or demilitarization or a free Palestine until we defeat fascism. We do it by calling our dads and telling them that we love them. That's how we do it, guys. It's not that hard. I mean, it is hard, but it's not that hard. You just have to tell your dad that you love him. And you have to talk to your neighbors and tell them that you love them and you're not going to leave them behind no matter who they voted for. That's all I have to say, sorry.
Alright, next we're going to have Zia from Socialist Alternative.
My name's Zia. I'm an organizer with Socialist Alternative. I want to thank Sunrise Movement for co-sponsoring this event. Left unity in this moment is incredibly important, and I want to call on other left boards in Pittsburgh to join us. This election cycle has been a slap in the face of working people since the beginning. Trump represents a massive threat. He has promised tax cuts for billionaires, continued fracking, increased tariffs on imported goods, and sweeping deportations. He has also pledged to include dangerous figures like Elon Musk and RFK Jr. in his administration. When faced with this threat, the Democrats pushed further and further to the right. Over the past 4 years, the Biden administration has shown again and again that they stand on the side of big business. Promises of protecting abortion rights, raising the minimum wage, and taking a serious approach to fighting climate change have all been abandoned in order to prop up corporations and fund endless wars. The right scapegoats immigrants and trans people for what's wrong in society. But we will not be fooled. We know it is not other ordinary people, but the billionaire bosses and their political servants that are the real enemy. The Democrats did nothing to prevent the growth of the right wing and let dangerous ideas about trans people and immigrants go unchallenged. their hypocrisy was made blatantly clear when they supported the brutal police repression and crackdown on student protests and encampments against the genocidal war on Gaza. The Democrats' failure to meaningfully stand up to Trump reveals their true allies, corporations and the billionaire class. Now, with the historic failure of a campaign behind them, we are left to pick up the pieces.
Hey, hey! Donald Trump has got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Donald Trump has got to go!
Woo! Get up! Get down! Pittsburgh is a union town!
Get up! Get down! Pittsburgh is a union town! Get up! Get down! Pittsburgh is a union town! Get up! Get down! Pittsburgh is a union town!
All right, next up we've got another Socialist movement speaker.
Hello, my name is Brendan. I with Sunrise Pittsburgh.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
I'm just curious, what's the red flag mean?
Well,
what's the red flag?
I just wanted to have it as a
presidency this time around, post January 5th.
Oh, is there a socialist flag? Yeah, never seen that before. Yeah, never seen a socialist
This
flag
wild
before.
man said he would arrest
Yeah, so
his
I was
political
surprised.
opponents before our race and freedom, especially women's right to abortion. It's before the progress we've made on the climate crisis, take away people's Medicare, put our military in the streets, and so many more disturbing lines, and so many other more disturbing lines with that. A sexist, racist man who has no understanding of economics, the Constitution, or basic decency. A sorry excuse for the man, a man who in 2020 denied the results of the Democratic election. Many of us, including me, feel hopeless. Many of us are looking for answers. How? Why? How could many of our friends and family vote for this orange bastard? I spent months. Yeah, I am a registered Democrat. My parents are my mom is a staunch Democrat. I spent months canvassing, phone banking, and writing postcards for Commonwealth throughout Allegheny County. So this is how democracy dies, with thunderous applause. Is the line that really is resident right now, with Trump winning the popular vote. And if Democrats will blame people that voted for third parties, they will blame minority communities, black and brown people, for not voting for them. Well, I'll tell you what, in democracy, you know how this is supposed to work? You're supposed to earn people's votes. Kamala lost because Democrats did not provide an answer to the cost of living crisis. The Democratic Party has done enough, and not done enough, to solve the climate crisis, to ensure everyone has health care, and reduce the cost of living. And so many more things they have not done. They have continued the countless foreign wars that we've gotten into, and our troops have died on foreign soil, causing nothing but humanitarian messes throughout the world. Instead of trying to earn our votes, they tried to guilt people into voting for them. People want our problems to be fixed. We want corruption to be solved. We don't want to vote for people that won't do what won't work for our working class moves, for working America. When we see the news that demoralizes us, we need to join together in community, because that is because not doing that and retreating and not voting, not getting out there and helping our neighbors is exactly what Trump will want us to do. We need to get out there and protect each other, because there's nobody that's coming to protect us. And also, we are near something else. We are nearing the end of this. It has been a long time since Reagan. We are now nearing an end to this political era.
Yeah, nice.
In
building.
Political science. We're nearing an end to that.
It's crazy, man.
We need to make sure that era ends soon.
Oh yeah, I saw you earlier. It's like, okay, yes.
That's only going to happen if we work together.
Yeah, like we go to the same gym, I'm pretty sure.
Together and build
I'm exact,
across
Yeah, I see you there at least once a week.
And
once or twice a week.
Among all
That's when I
working
get there.
people.
It's nice to see you
And
here.
shut down this economy.
Now we'll definitely have
Because
to
at some point, we all know Trump mismanaged the last time. Post-COVID, it's going to be even worse. That's on hard mode. He couldn't manage. He can't manage the easiest thing. He can't even manage to eat a pancake by himself. When you see Trump trying to round up your friends and neighbors, resist. When you see Trump trying to take away people's health care, resist. Build community organizations to provide health care for people and to protect those who need access to life-saving care like abortion. When you see Trump trying to destroy labor unions, resist. Don't participate in his strike breaking. Instead, protect workers and union leaders. When you feel the urge to hate Trump supporters or anyone else, resist. They voted for them because of the betrayal of the Democratic Party of working class communities. We need to create allies with them to be able to beat Trump. They will try to make us suspicious of their own family members and friends. We will not win every fight, but we will never know which ones we will win until we try. And we will always lose if we refuse to resist and we refuse to fight. If we refuse to build bridges and not walls, if we refuse to fight, so I call on you to let yourself breathe, then get up and resist. Countless lives may be lost. The question is the mask of fear though. Trump will not miscalculate, and eventually we will win.
Before the next speaker, I just wanted to announce that if anyone wants a break from standing, we have like a picnic blanket set up over there. If anyone just wants a chill space, you can break whatever. And then now we are going to hear from Matt from the Green Party. Matt, where are you at? Oh shit. Okay. Well. You can go later, I guess.
He's coming.
Okay, hello, can you hear me? Hi, my name is Matt Eunice. I am a member of the Green Party of Allegheny County, and I'm also a member of Sunrise Movement Pittsburgh. I want to talk about a local campaign that is just doing up right now to ban fracking in Allegheny County. I just want to start with something that I think is relevant right now. So a couple of years ago, I was attending a climate conference at a local university, and there was a speech given by Dr. Penny, who was sort of like someone we look up to, and something she started off with was, and this was in relation to the climate crisis, but I think it is also pretty apt for this moment right now. And she talked about, in order to cope, how do we cope with the crisis we find ourselves in? And she talked about the importance of acknowledging what we've lost, and I think that everybody's lost something over the years, and especially right now, I think people are feeling nervous. But also to save what we still have. We still have a lot. We still have each other. There's a lot of people here tonight. All of you are friends and family. We can't lose sight of protecting what we already have. But one more thing that I think is also important and relevant to that is once we save what we have, to build something new. So as an organizer who's been involved in this for a few years now, it's hard to continually feel like you're on defense, right? And like attacks are coming from everywhere, and we're always trying to save what little we have left. But I think it's important to remember that we do still have a lot, and we can ultimately win and build back up. So coming up very soon, there is going to be a County Board of Health meeting. Every other month there are County Board of Health meetings, and they're an opportunity for the public to come and speak about what they care about and what they want the county government to do for them. Food and Water Watch is a statewide organization. and they are right now spearheading a campaign to ban fracking countywide. They're part of a coalition that I was part of, and Sunrise and DSA and other groups called Protect Our Parks Movement, which a couple years ago successfully defeated the right-wing, corrupt Rich Fitzgerald, who was our old county executive, in successfully banning fracking in county parks. So it's something that can be done. It's something that still gives me a lot of inspiration, hope, and energy, even 2 years on. But this is sort of like the sequel to that. It was just going to be like the big ban fracking to electric boogaloo to that. So we definitely need more people to be involved. We want to build this coalition. One reason why we were successful 2 years ago is because it wasn't just 1 or 2 organizations or 1 or 2 nonprofits on their own advocating. We brought people together, we brought organizations together, and we showed up and created sort of like a critical mass of people to put pressure on county government. The pressure was enough to make them fight for our will, which is what they're supposed to do. Their job is to represent us. If you want to get involved in the countywide fracking ban campaign, come talk to me. Once again, December 4th is when the next County Board of Health meeting will be, and we're trying to turn people out en masse to demand ban on fracking. 12:30 on a Wednesday. And yes, I know. Something that is also indicative of a corrupt government is that they design public meetings to happen at times where working people can't attend. If you can't attend, or if you know someone who can attend, please help encourage them to come. You can also submit written comment as well, which is helpful. Talk to me afterwards, but I think that's all I have to say. Next. I'll be over at the chill station, but we have fruit and stuff if you're hungry, whatever. Chill station.
All right, next we're going to hear from Kai from Socialist Alternative.
Awesome. Okay, can we get the energy up? When immigrant rights are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
When immigrant rights are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
When immigrant rights are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
Hell yeah! I'm Kai, use she, her pronouns. I'm a trans woman and a unionized letter carrier at the post office. Rank and file member of NALC, National Association of Letter Carriers Local 84, and a member of Build a Fighting NALC, the rank and file national reform movement in our union that's popularizing winning the right to strike for postal and all federal workers. I'm calling on all my union siblings in the organized labor movement, as well as my labor siblings actively struggling to build and rebuild our unions, to turn out, to protest, march, rally, and most importantly, to turn to each other in our workplaces to discuss with our coworkers what is the way forward for the labor movement. We need to put forward our ideas and lead discussions about the role of labor in fighting back against Trump's reactionary agenda and ultimately towards building a new labor party independent of the bosses and the capitalist class. I'm also a member of Socialist Alternative. I joined the socialist movement in 2021 because I was tired of relying on the Democrats, who even now hold abortion and trans rights hostage, so we vote blue no matter who. I was impatient for a better world free from exploitation and oppression, not just a kinder capitalism. What does a Trump victory mean? The growth of the right and the far right demonstrate not that ordinary people are evil or ignorant today, or more so than previously, but that there is a growing desperation among all working people for a challenge to the status quo. For a struggle against the cost of living crisis that we're all living every day. I am one of many young workers living paycheck to paycheck right now, furious that the promise of a stable living wage or a decent job has been torn away from us. And where is our organized left and labor leadership who can take on the billionaire class, their capitalist system and all its deceptions? The failures of left leadership, and especially the betrayals of Democrats' progressive promises year after year, from Medicare for All to the Green New Deal, has provided an opening for the right to grow. The growth of Trumpism is one symptom of the wider disease of the capitalist system. It's one of many indicators that growing numbers, especially young workers and youth, are willing to fight back. Trump is capitalizing on this moment, but I know that the left...
We are unstoppable! A socialist world is possible! We are unstoppable! A socialist world is possible!
One last time!
We are unstoppable! A socialist world is possible! Woo!
Yeah!
All right, let's keep it going for Carol. And now we've got Elias from the Sunrise Movement. Elias.
I'll take that as a round of applause for Mother Nature. So, I have been the hype man for many a crowd, but today, as I look out into the future, a future that is increasingly uncertain for someone such as me, if you know me, the very minority that Donald Trump hates the most, all of them combined in one individual, then I think I could use a little hyping myself. So, the way we're going to do this is when I say people, you say power! People! Power! People! Power! People! Power! People! Power! Show me what democracy looks like!
This is what democracy looks like!
Show me what democracy looks like!
This is what democracy looks like!
Believe it! Show me what community looks like!
This is what community looks like!
Show me what community looks like!
This is what community looks like!
Damn right!
Woo!
Damn right! And I believe it. I believe y'all. Tonight, we are here to radically envision a future beyond fascism, beyond capitalism, beyond neoliberalism, beyond all of the isms that keep us shackled within identity politics, within failing states, within failing societies that promise us everything and give us nothing. And to inaugurate this future requires each and every one of us to offer our best, our thoughts, our hands, every part that we can give. And today, all I'm asking for is just, if anyone would like to offer a word right now, just one word, your word to bring into this vision of the future. Socialism, a good one. Education, love, justice, solidarity, hope, community. Home. You see the future that we are building right now. It is so radically compassionate that the fascist movement must expend all of their energy to extinguish it. They have spent 400 years with their boots on the necks of the peoples that call this place home. We are standing at a place where those boots were first imposed on the peoples of this turtle island. And we recognize those peoples, especially those in and around our region like the Haudenosaunee, the Osage, Shawandasitula, and others who fought and died, who were refugees like the Lenni Lenape, against the force of colonial capitalism. Right down there is the fortress where the global colonial order was forged. Right here in Pittsburgh is the city where the global fossil fuel industry was made. This is not only the epicenter of leftist movements in American history, but also the epicenter of its very opposite. And today, we manifest not their colonial destiny, but a new destiny that will override it. That will supplant evil and division with solidarity. That will build a future that we can all be proud of and say we belong in. And the key to that is the solidarity that we are demonstrating tonight. Across all of our movements, across all of our organizations, regardless of our age, our gender, our class, our race, we are demonstrating that we are the community of the future, that we are the ones who are leading boldly this vision for what the world could be like when it is one full of love rather than hate. And in that powerful solidarity, I ask you to join me in a song. Some of you know this song. Some of you may not. It goes to the tune of the Battle Hymn of the Republic, which, for all intents and purposes, is now entirely defunct. So I propose that this be its ultimate replacement. Because when we march, when we stand shoulder to shoulder to face the fascists, as many comrades did against the Confederates, as comrades did against the Nazis, as we have done for 400 years in community, we will sing loudly and proudly. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. For the union makes us strong. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. For the union makes us strong. You turn to your neighbors. We are a union now. And together, we are stronger than apart. I look forward to seeing each and every one of you shoulder to shoulder over the next 4, 10, 50 years. As we make this future together. Thank you.
All right. Before we open up the floor, we have one last prepared speaker from DSA.
All right, my name is Sephora, and I'm a member of the Pittsburgh chapter of the Democratic Socialists of America. Thanks for having me today. Look, I'm tired. A lot of people are shocked right now. You know, some of us suspected that Trump would win, but didn't think the Democrats were going to fail this hard. Well, they did. You know, probably some of you voted for Harris, and some of you didn't, and there was a lot of conflict about that. I personally didn't. DSA did not endorse or campaign for any presidential candidate, but ultimately, while more people did pull the lever for Trump than for Harris, more people didn't vote than voted for all candidates combined. Even compared to Biden 4 years ago, Harris and the Democratic Party dug a hole millions of votes deep that couldn't be filled even if all the third-party voters switched to her. People just weren't interested in what Harris was trying to sell, and she wasn't selling much besides being not Trump.
Yeah.
It is clear that being not Trump isn't enough. Workers deserve more than supposed lesser of two evils. We're sick and tired of being literally sick and tired. The economy, it might be going great for a lot of investors and capitalists right now, but regular working class people are treading water or drowning. Food and rent and healthcare and childcare and more, they all add up, and the math just isn't mathing for a lot of us. And the Biden regime is continuing to aid and fund and arm the ongoing genocide in Palestine.
Boo! Boo!
Biden wouldn't even use the fullest extent of his powers to protect abortion rights and fight the climate crisis. And millions of people have been kicked off Medicaid now that the pandemic is supposedly over. And now we are staring down another Trump regime.
Shame!
What I think this election really shows us that we don't live in a democracy. We don't live under a system of majority rule with one equal vote for all. For the millions of people who don't live in a swing state, the outcome of this election would have been the same no matter who they voted for. The change that we in this land and this planet need isn't something that we've been allowed to vote for. We live under an undemocratic regime where a rural state in one part of the country has more political power in the Senate than cities of millions in another, where a president rules by the stroke of a pen and commands an army that oppresses people around the world. And when an unelected panel of Supreme Court judges serves for life to strip us of what little protections we do have. Now I think that ranked choice voting and abolishing the Electoral College are worth fighting for, and I'll join that fight. But I think we'll never be free unless we set our sights on fighting the undemocratic Constitution framed over 200 years ago by slave owners and demanding and fighting for a new republic and a new democratic Constitution. With a new republic, we can break the chains on democracy and empower the people to help save the planet and build a new future for everyone. Now that might sound big and pie in the sky, but we need a goal and a program to guide us. And if we're just waiting for midterms, presidential election, midterms, presidential election, and getting behind the empty promises of whatever goal the Democrats are going to prop up every 4 years, we're fucked. The whole planet is fucked. With the fight for democracy as our goal, we can turn back to the little steps that can help us build towards a green, socialist, democratic future. We're going to have a tough time in these next few months and years, but we can join together with our friends and our neighbors, our co-workers, because when a community comes together, we can build something more, become something more. We can become our own party, and we can save ourselves and beat the far right where the Democratic Party has failed. Now I want to invite each and every one of you to an organizing fair the DSA is hosting next Sunday, November 17th at 2 p.m. at Trace Brewing in Bloomfield. Now if you're looking for help forming a union at your job, perhaps building a union of tenants with your neighbors, for getting involved in mutual aid projects, for fighting for divestment from the state of so-called Israel, for joining for future campaigns for independent socialist candidates, and for standing with our homeless neighbors and more, or if you just need to talk and vent and be a community, DSA members along with members of other organizations are going to be there to help get you plugged in. So please come to our organizing fair and join DSA to build an independent socialist mass party. The world, it really sucks right now, and it's up to us to lock in and build a better one. Thank you.
All right, we are now going to just have an open floor for if anyone wants a chance to speak. Okay, so if you just like come up. So the hands, it's very dark out. I can't see hands well. We'll just form, and then one quick announcement too, just catching people in case people start leaving early. Make sure you leave with a buddy. It is dark out. We just want everybody to be safe. We have a lot of students going back to Oakland. I'm one of them. You can come find me if we want to bus together. All right.
Who's cool? Yeah. All right. Hi, I'm Jeff. I'm with the Revolutionary Communists of America. Who here is feeling sad about the election? All right. I'm not really feeling all that sad about it. I mean, it's a tragedy that Donald Trump was able to pose himself as the anti-establishment candidate twice. What does that mean for us? That should be our space. The communist movement, the socialist movement, the union movement, the labor movement. We need to be out there in every single school, workplace, and neighborhood organizing every single day. Next time we come here and meet, whether it's the next presidential election, the next 2-year cycle, I want to see tens of thousands of people in this whole area. We need to go out there every single day and be the socialist, the communist, the organizer. And we need to organize until we win. We know that nothing turns in this entire society. Not a light bulb shines, not a wheel turns without the everyday permission of the working class. It's through our labor that we're able to change society. Nothing can stop us as long as we're organized. But we're not outnumbered, we're not outgunned, we're out-organized by the capitalist class and their political parties. We're here in the United States, the belly of the beast. All we have to do is have a successful socialist revolution once. All we have to do is win once. One great general strike in this country and it's fucking over. We have a duty to ourselves, to our class, to the future generations, to the rest of the world, the workers of the world, to show that the United States does not stand idly by, that the working class of this country will not let Trump have his way with the anti-establishment rhetoric, for him to be able to win the anger and the disgust that people are, expressing in different ways through his election. Ultimately, we need to be there. We need to be the ones showing the working class alternative in every single school, workplace, and neighborhood. In my opinion, the most significant developments to this election show that the Democrats have been absolutely exposed from top to bottom. You have Proposition 6, California Prop 6, which makes slavery legal. I mean, it's already illegal, we all know, under the 14th Amendment. But to have something like that take place again, and today, in 2024, over 100 years after the Civil War, to say that we will allow for criminals, or under the capitalist system, to work in forced labor, and some of the most dangerous conditions, in California in particular, they're fighting fires. Why is it that we need indentured servitude and slavery to fight fires? Why should people who are in the most vulnerable positions be put in the most vulnerable position times 2 and put their life at danger to cover up for the crimes of the capitalists and their electricity grid that's totally rotten and their pursuit for profit? The short-term system needs to be put to an end, and it needs to be replaced with an internationally planned economy with the workers in control. The United States likes to lay claim to the word democracy, so much so that it invades other countries on a regular basis to instill their version of democracy. I'm here to say, voting once every 4 years for a bourgeois party, for a capitalist party that has not my interest, not my generation's interest, or the world's interest, but only the interest in profit and heart, is not a democracy. I'm here to say that we need democracy in workplace every single day. We need democracy in the schools. We need a 20-hour work week with no loss in pay so that people can take part in the daily running of society and get used to doing that as a class. It's not going to be an easy thing. It's not going to be an automatic thing. But what we're looking at is a generation, the next 10 years is going to be much more similar to the 1930s. It was already raised, the Teamster Rebellion, the strikes in the 1934 years. That's the lesson, and that's our heritage, and that's what we need to go on. Right over there in McKees Rocks, 1909 was the first strike led by the IWW. Woo! right here in Pittsburgh. Now, unfortunately, most of the labor movements, the labor struggles in the city have been losses. But a defeated army learns well, and like I said, we only need to win once. The steel industry gave the rights to the union workers in the whole industry in the country because they didn't want the workers to have the struggle. And that should tell us everything we need to know. When we fight, we win, but ultimately, we should have no illusions in any capitalist party, in any politician, in their entire system. The only strength that we have is in the workers of the world. That's the people we need to put our trust into, and it's ultimately our ability to stop the means of production, for the profit motive from flowing. The only way to change that is for the workers to take part in the democratic running of society every single day. We need a rationally planned economy that takes the profit motive out of the entire equation and allows us to prepare a world on the basis of production for need instead of profit, for socialized production for need all around the world, nothing less. Because the crisis of climate change, that's what it'll take. It'll take us to actively organize every single person in the world towards productive needs, towards actually being able to relate to each other as humans and to produce in a way that relates to the earth, our environment, our resources, in a way that's sustainable and everything. 17 million less people voted this year than the last election. I think that says it all, right? I mean, if this is really the most important election of our lifetime, then why is over 50% of America not having a chance to vote? Why are people who are under 18 not allowed to vote? I mean, I think I've said enough, but I'll just end on solidarity forever, workers of the road unite.
Hey everyone. We're all here for the same reason, we don't have to rehash it. But my name's Fox, I use they, them pronouns. I felt the need to speak today just because I have a sign here that says death before detransition. I've gotten a couple of questions about it, so I want to talk about what that means to me personally. But before I do that, I want to take a second to acknowledge all of my fellow white queer folk in the crowd. Please remember, first and foremost, we are white before we are queer. Your queer identity does not absolve you of any other acts that you've done to cause damage to any marginalized communities. And you have to use your whiteness in order to help the people who don't have voices. On that same thing, I'm also a firm believer in times like these that art is very important right now. Art is something that has always been a very integral foundation for resistance movements. It is one of the most easily accessible forms to give information to others while also being discreet if you need that. So keep making art. And I do have a poem that I wrote that I will be reading today. With that disclaimer, I also want to say, white people, white queer people, we do not get to back down. We don't get to lie down. We don't get to be palatable. All right? In this moment, we do not get to be palatable. That would be such a disgrace and a dishonor and an insult to all of our BIPOC friends, families, brothers, and sisters who have fought for us to get here today. We have rights to protect, and we have rights that we fear losing because of black trans women. And we do not get to dishonor them by taking a step back, by going into hiding. And honestly, the fact that a lot of us have even entertained that idea just shows how privileged we are. That being said, here's a little poem I wrote while I was journaling the other day, as you do. Okay. So, death before detransition. You'll try to take away our rights, but I know that our brothers and sisters put up one hell of a fucking fight. We protect each other. We're who keeps us safe. Take a look into our history and you'll see it on the page, not the pages in the school books, but the pages of our lives, written with our blood as the ink we've been deprived. We fight for each other. This has always been the case. So don't let one election wipe you down to a clean slate. We've been met with worse. We survived a goddamned plague, aimed to wipe us out, but all it did was set the stage for the voices of tomorrow and for the voices of today. We can't look back at that injustice and decide to hide away. We must keep moving forward, if not for them, then for our youth, who didn't have a say but have come to face the truth that 70 million people hate them, but 70 million love them too. We've had the time to cry, but now there's work to do. Thank you.
Hi all. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Great. I just wanted to talk about something that I heard, and just the connection between the larger political things that we're doing and also small community organizing. I heard someone say, describe that as like falling back into small community organizing, and I just wanted to make sure that everyone knows that we can do both, and that we should do both, and that although there are really important things, there's really important things we need to be doing politically. That's like, there's very important things for fighting for, banning fracking, ranked choice voting. There's really impactful things that we can do now politically, but those things are very connected with how we treat each other in our own communities and our own spaces. And it really comes down to stopping our investments in the system, stop investing in the system. And Trump voters know that the system has failed them too. They're victims in a different way, and they're taking it out on different groups, but we have to create alternatives. Alternative ways of life outside of capitalistic and transactional ways of treating people and others and institutions and how they treat us. And these alternatives, I was going to say, if we are just focusing on the system and we're neglecting how we treat ourselves, then we're not really creating a type way of life that other people want to join. And these alternatives, they go deep. I'm not talking about anything new that we're making up right now, although that's part of it. I'm talking about ways of life that have existed here on this land for thousands of years. And it's something, it's like native plants. When you plant a native plant that's used to growing here, their roots go deep, 8, 10, 12 feet. And like other plants we're trying to plant, like soybeans, these things, their roots go this far down. And that's just like the roots of capitalism. Brand new. These ways of life they're so new, but the ones that have been here, the ones that we need to tap into, they go so deep into the ground. And it's just one of the things that will always scare them the most is people abandoning the system. They do any concessions to save the system, but we need to not fall for it. And just little history lesson, when the English were colonizing Ireland, where they learned ways that they would later use on indigenous people here, the scariest thing that they could hear was that their people got captured, and when they tried to find them, they couldn't, because they chose to leave the way of life that they have known, that they had come from capitalism, from exploitation. They chose to leave that to join indigenous ways of life. That's what scared them the deepest down to their core, is that there are other ways to live, and that people would abandon their way that they have told them to live for that way. And we need to be creating those places in our systems, in our communities, in our spaces. We need to be treating each other with love, and that's the foundation of everything. Thank you.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Yes, you can. My name is Zach. I'm gonna be honest. This is my first rally of any kind I have ever attended.
Woo! Congratulations.
Thank you very much. I'd like to thank all the speakers that came before. They are very smart. They know what the fuck they're doing. I am very dumb. I'm going to speak purely from emotion. Well, you got to recognize your own stupidity at some point in order to improve it. My grandfather used to be able to take swimming lessons in his small town lake. You can't do that anymore. Why? My mother and I watched Harry and Sally. Great movie, great movie. There's a scene where Harry meets Sally at the airport. past the security guard, right at the gate. And she says, you can't do that anymore. And I say, why? My dad used to say that nobody locked their doors in the town that he grew up with. You can't do that anymore. Why? We all know the answer. Greed. Pure greed, always. Pisses me the fuck off. Woo! Post 9/11, these measures meant to protect us from terrorism have been turned against us. We are surveilled by our own government. Always. We're always undermined by our own government. Always. Kamala Harris was anti-Donald Trump. Why the fuck are you bragging about having Dick Cheney on your side? Fucking shame!
Shame!
Shame as fuck! Free Palestine. Free Palestine. Free all the colonized people all over the world. This is spoken from somebody as an outsider. I've seen the Palestine protests, and I've seen people waving Palestinian flags and marching through the street in solidarity. It is beautiful. And I see, I'm on Instagram, and I scroll through, and I see a comment that says, I don't see a single American flag anywhere. And at first I was like, fuck you. But then I was like, no, that's true. Why isn't there an American flag? Why does Donald Trump get to decide what America is, huh? Why is I am American through and through. I love this country greatly. If I didn't love it, I wouldn't give a shit about it. So, all I ask is that you say what you mean with your fucking chest. Don't deny where you are. We're talking about, what, reaching across the aisle to Trump supporters that, you know, they're not really down, not really, for billionaires being in charge. But if what they see is a seemingly anti-American, which I know it isn't, I am not ignorant to the fact that the American Communist Party has a very deep history in this country. But we have got to show them that this is America. We are all a product of America just as much as Donald Trump is. So, thank you very much. God bless America. Free Palestine. Fucking say what you need with your chest. Love until your knuckles bleed. Thank you.
Thank you. Actually really like that speech. I believe it or not, actually was in the army. I literally just got out recently. But you can love your country and be a socialist at the same time. So it kind of resonated with me. Hey, so my name is Faust. I'm a student at Pitt. Basically, if there's any Pitt students here, it'd be kind of cool. We all got together and maybe like form a group chat, you know. So that's really all I wanted to say. Thank you. How's it going tonight? I'm ad-libbing all this shit. I don't know why I'm up here, but my name ain't important, but I have a story I wanted to tell. A short one. So 2016 was the first presidential election that I could vote in, and what a fucking start that was. I saw that decline in real time as my welcome as a young adult in this wonderful country we live in. And as I'm sure many of us did, I kind of just lost hope. I saw all of these people preaching revolution, and all I could think was that'll never happen. We're fucked. But a couple years ago, I had started to believe a little bit more that there was something we could do about this place. But still, it was out of a place of pure spite. All I had was this indignant anger, and that's not a great way to feel yourself. But the real turning point for me as a person
was whenever I finally discovered and accepted that I was a transgender woman, and that I am, as much as I'm fed up with this country, I'm a whole lot more fed up with the biology that I got stuck with. But that sense of who I really am, and finally having a vision of a future that I could look forward to instead of dread, instead of wondering if I'd off myself by 30, I started dreaming about what my life could be. And along with that, I focused on myself for a good while. I had a lot to do. And I kind of let my wider sympathies fall by the wayside. And I think it's time I fucking stop that. Because we had Biden for a few years. We see where that got us. I'm probably not the only one that got a little bit complacent about us finally having gotten Trump out of office. But we have learned, as always, the Democrats ain't gonna do shit for us. So we're gonna need to do it ourselves. And that doesn't just mean me being in solidarity with my other queer people, as much as I love them and as beautiful as queer solidarity is. We can't do it alone. The labor movement is our real chance to enact power upon our ability to change the course of things here, and not just let it descend down into the rabbit hole of fascism and accept our decline as some sort of inevitable hell. But labor for labor's sake, it's easy to view that as the only concern, and I think it's really easy, especially the more privileged we are. Like I am white, you know, I'm far from the most targeted person, as much as I'm not thrilled about how this administration loves trans people. But in order to have true solidarity, we need labor, we need solidarity with queer people, we need solidarity with people of color, with immigrants, with the disabled, with every fucking group that has been flung by the wayside by this corrupt system that has been festering ever since it was founded. And the only solidarity we can have is by recognizing all of these struggles and not just focusing on one or the other. We need all of us together and not just as a token thing. Every time that Black Americans are under fire again, we need to be with them. Every time that queer rights are under fire again, we need to be with them. Every time they're trying to deport another poor family, we need to be with them. That's all I got. Thank you.
Hello everybody. I'm not going to ask how you're doing because I already know, but with all the talk that's going on around this election, I feel like it's really easy to get dejected and feel doomed, and a lot of time like there might be no hope, and that everybody who falls under any kind of minority group is just screwed and there's nothing we can do to help ourselves. So I wanted to bring a little bit of positivity to the conversation. There are some good things that happened with the Democratic Party with this election. Like for the first time in history, 2 Black women will be serving in Congress at the same time. For the first time, a transgender woman has been elected to Congress. And in, I believe, at least 6 different states, they codified abortion protection into the state law, into their state constitution. So I think it's easy to focus on what's gone wrong, but I think it's still extremely important to focus on also the things that have gone right, to acknowledge the bounds we've made and the accomplishments we've had, despite what the leaders of the Democratic Party have done to prevent that. I just think that in all the conversations. It's really important that we talk about all the things that are going wrong and all the things that need fixed. But I think it's also incredibly important for everybody's mental health and just the future of the movement to also acknowledge when things go really well. Yeah, that's pretty much all I have. Fuck Trump.
Good night. My name is Aline. I'm from Brazil. I'm just here for a while, but I couldn't don't come. What else could I be with this shit happening? So I just here to show my support for you guys. In Brazil we had some struggle too the past times with Bolsonaro, and actually my fear is that you guys feeling here now, we can feel maybe in 2 years. So we need to stay together. We need to find ways to get more people involved and engaged. So I'm just here to thank you for doing that. What you are doing here, it's so relevant, not only for you, you know that, and for us too. Bolsonaro tries to do our Trump, but it's the worst thing I could imagine. So I'm just supporting, and yeah, we can do better, but we need to fight for this. So yeah, let's do it. So, thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Hi. I'm kind of nervous to talk right now, so I'm sorry if I mess up on my words. My name is Arrow. I'm 17, so I was not old enough to vote in this election, which is why I'm here. Woo! I want to do anything I can to fight right now. Sorry. I'm trying to do everything I can to fight right now since I was not old enough to vote. There's not too much that I want to say, but I kind of wanted to share my story because a lot of people don't think that it affects the amount of people that it does. On Wednesday morning when I woke up and I found out that Trump was going to be our new president, I immediately started crying, and I was very scared because I'm trans and I'm queer. And so the first thing I did was call my doctor. And on Monday, I'm going to get an IUD. It's not something that I want to have done or something that I was planning, but I'm getting it now before I lose access to it altogether. And I'm very scared. And I'm scared for any other queer or trans kids that are going to have to undergo something like this soon. And without, a lot of them without much preparation or time, because they're just as scared as I am that they're going to lose access to what's able to be, or access to control over their own bodies and their own health care and their own gender care, just like I am. One of the main reasons that I am getting it is because I'm afraid of under the possible new laws of being raped. And so I wanted, not to say this to scare people, but I wanted to share my story and my experience and how I feel right now as a kid observing this election and how it's turned out and how it's affected people and made people feel, so that you do know that these are real situations and they're not made up. And I'm sure not many of you here think that, but you may have relatives or families who think that you're bullshitting them when you do say things like that. And so feel free to tell them my story if someone thinks that you're lying to them or that there isn't someone that is undergoing something like that. That's all I wanted to say, was just to share that. So
You're loved and you belong!
I think that is everyone. Thank you all so much for coming out. The crowd's thinned a bit, so thanks for sticking around to hear everybody speak. I hope you got signed up or got a flyer, got connected with at least one organization, if not several. Please, we already mentioned earlier, but Sunday, 1 o'clock in Millvale, I've got flyers if anyone wants to come up. We're having Socialist Alternatives having a meeting, open meeting anyone can come out to and just talk about the way forward, what we're going to do next. Yeah, thank you all so much for coming out, and be safe getting home.
Thank you for organizing. It's great.